Man, I'm really faking it right now. I am super faking it right now. We're live. Hi. Wow. What the fuck, man? Like the minute right before we go live, I spill my drink all up in my brand new keyboard and that shit just fizzles right the fuck out. So now I don't have a keyboard. I'll have to go back and get a new one, I guess. I just got this fucking thing 2 weeks ago. My desk is all nice and sticky from the beer I spilled all over the place. Oh, and it was one of those really nice RGB keyboards too. So and that's done now. That's dead. Like I've got it sitting upside down so maybe some of the fucking beer will drain out of it, and I don't know. 3 days from now, maybe like just like Jesus Christ himself, it'll spring back to life, but who fucking knows? Anyway, that's how my night's going. How are you guys doing?
My keyboard is fine, so I'm doing a little bit better than you are.
Great. I'm happy to hear it, man. Really, really thrilled. Justin, what about you? How are you doing?
I'm fine. Nothing too good, but nothing bad either. So.
CJ? Why are you so quiet, CJ?
I'm being like as loud. This is like my normal speaking.
I'm gonna turn the volume up on CJ a little bit because he's coming in a little.
I hope I have my mic set up. Like, yeah,
so John,
I'm just gonna
say everyone but you is really quiet.
That doesn't make any sense.
Everyone but you. So you might want to boost Discord overall and reduce your own mic input.
I just did. Yeah.
Okay, and then just pull your own mic a little bit down.
I did. Yeah, that's what I did.
All right.
Yeah. No. When I spilled my beer on my keyboard, like I immediately ripped the fucking thing off the desk, so beer, like I could stop the flow of beer to the rest of my shit on here, and it landed. And like when I got back, like we were live for one thing, but also like a bunch of shit must have gotten jumbled up in Discord, or in OBS. But it seems like we're better now.
I'm just picturing you ripping the keyboard out of the computer and just like hurling it at the wall.
That's like not too far off what actually happened. I like
Spider-Man,
sometimes you just gotta
a bomb or something like that, just like chucking it.
Listen, sometimes you just gotta smash that keyboard. Like sometimes it's the only solution.
Dude, like I'm so fucking pissed off about that keyboard. And like the funny thing is like, you know, like I said, it's one of those RGB keyboards. So I spilled the beer on it and immediately all the keys started like lighting up different colors. And I was like, oh, this thing is fucked.
I was all like lit up, spelling like dead.
Yeah, like no, dude. I mean, like all the colors of the rainbow, every key just like all over the place. Like I was like, yeah, this thing's probably not coming back. And then it completely shut off.
They'll hold up well against Mountain Dew and Cheetos, but not beer, man. That's their Achilles heel.
I was able to save most of my beer though, so that you know, small victories, I guess. So we may or may not have a guest tonight. Katie, you guys know her as at Pikacholita on Twitter. She might be joining us if she has time tonight to talk about the recent Twitch stuff, the hate streams that have been targeting women and people of color. But we'll give her some time. It was kind of short notice, so we'll give her some time and see if she shows up. And if not, we'll go ahead and address it ourselves. There are a few small news items I wanted to get out of the way first, if you guys don't mind. And I wanted to get your kind of I don't know, the group take on this. Apparently, Metroid Dread's pre-orders are outpacing Pokemon, the Brilliant Pearl or the Pearl and Diamond remakes. It's actually right now at the top of the highest amount of pre-orders for a Nintendo game this fall. So I think it's probably safe to say that this will probably end up being the highest selling Metroid game, which is not a high bar by any means.
I mean, it'll probably pass that at launch. Like honestly, this series traditionally has not sold well
at all.
And the Switch bump has been a very real thing for a lot of Nintendo properties, big and small.
The Switch bump.
I mean, it makes me really happy.
The Switch bump is legit, dude.
I'm really happy. Although I do think, like, you know, a lot of the audience that wants to be playing that wants to grab Metroid is probably a lot of the audience that's going to rush to pre-order right away. Whereas, Pokemon sells over time. Lots of parents picking it up for kids, stuff like that. So it's like, well, I don't want people to think, oh, we think Metroid's going to outsell Pokemon, because that's not
it won't
happen. But
I think what it is, it's like, yeah, like Justin said, over time Pokemon will probably end up selling more than Metroid. I think for now this is just hardcore Metroid fans like rushing. I think that's what it is.
Yeah,
It's more.
I think you're probably right about that.
It's more of Nintendo's more. I don't want to say niche, because then again I would sound ignorant, because I don't know like what other comparisons there are to any other series. But it doesn't seem like
it's a series that has a very strong legacy, but has not traditionally had great sales behind it.
So, I think part of this is, I'll kind of piggyback off what CJ's saying. I think part of this is due to the fact that it has been how long since we've had a new 2D Metroid? And I'm not talking about Samus Returns. Like that's a remake of an older game.
19 years.
Yeah, like this is the first actual forward momentum that the Metroid lore has had in 19 years. Because it's a direct sequel to Metroid Fusion. And so I think CJ's onto something there. Like I think sales for this are going to be super front loaded. But it's like, I feel like there's more excitement about this simply because it's been 19 years since we've had a brand new entry in the Metroid storyline, and we get a Pokemon game every single year.
Well, and also it's like a big shiny console Metroid game. Think about it. And most Metroid games have been handheld, especially 2D ones.
And also, like, these are the remakes, which don't seem to have as much momentum behind them as like Legends Arceus, which we got that direct for earlier this week, which is going to be like a full actual open world game. I think maybe these remakes won't do quite as well as the Pokemon remakes traditionally do, at least like comparably to player base and stuff. So, obviously they're going to do well. It's Pokemon, but like I think a lot of people are waiting for the new game, which is early next year.
So that's something else I wanted to bring up, Justin. Another small news item. We had the Pokemon Direct the other day, and I want to point out, Justin, for years I thought it was Arceus. It's actually Arceus.
Oh, I haven't actually played Pokemon in a long time, so I don't know.
I thought it was Arceus. It's like playing Final Fantasy VII and saying Mako for years and years and years and years, and then you find out it's Mako, and you're like, no, it's not. It's absolutely fucking not. Like it's Mako. It's not fucking Mako. Like. For real, like
I fucking Final Fantasy. That's a stupid thing. I can even point that out.
Like, I mean, when I first heard Mako instead of Mako, like I did a double take. I was like, why did they mispronounce Mako? And it's like Final Fantasy does that weird shit. It's like in Final Fantasy 12 when like they're taking the word marquis and they're saying Marquis, and I'm like, guys, like.
You guys can't make up words that are already there.
Guys, it's marquee. It's marquee. It's not fucking Marquis.
That's a word. Like, that's not even just making up a word. That's just saying a word is pronounced differently.
And they do it all throughout the game. Marquis. And I'm like, fuck. Like, oh god, this is really getting to me. But going back to Pokemon, guys, Arceus, and I've got to like get used to saying Arceus now. Arceus looks 100 times better than the last time we saw it. I don't know if you guys watched the Pokemon Direct or looked at the footage from Arceus and compared it to the initial reveal, but the goofy Breath of the Wild comparisons aside, like this game is looking a lot better. I'm actually far more excited for it now than I was at the initial reveal.
I think gameplay wise, it looks really cool. I think it's going to be a more people seem to think it was just going to be like a small scale spin-off to kind of test test the waters, but it seems like it's going to be a real substantial game. Visually, I think the game still looks rough even for a Switch game.
Yeah, I mean,
but it's also their first
Game Freak though.
It's also
dude.
their first it's their first open world game. It's their first it's one of the first games they've even built from the ground up for the Switch. They haven't done too much console development in a long time. So But I think the game itself looks really fun, and it'll probably be one of the first like actual Pokemon games I play in quite some time. So I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be cool.
So I just got the word actually that there are some massive storms in Katie's area and her internet is down. So
that's unfortunate.
Yeah, she won't be able to join us, but we're still going to talk about the Twitch stuff because I think it's important. But yeah, no, I wonder about Arceus simply because I'm optimistic for it, but at the same time it's a very cautious optimism because year after year, like Pokemon adheres to a certain formula, right? You go out in the wild, you collect Pokemon, you bring them back, you add them to your Pokedex, and that's really it, right? Like you have trainer battles, and that's what Pokemon is. And I love Pokemon. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with that, but I feel like the franchise was due for something new, kind of a shakeup. So something like Arceus, which is essentially like a prequel to every Pokemon game, is in this big open world, is very appealing to me. However, having said that, I do wonder, like, I know we're all tired of the Breath of the Wild comparisons, but in Breath of the Wild, like, love it or hate it, there was a ton of shit to do in that game. Like, that was a world you could just go get lost in, and literally anything could fucking happen. Like, you just pick a direction and you go. There's tons of shit to do. I'm not expecting the same kind of experience out of Arceus. And beyond going out and collecting Pokemon, like, the world can be massive and that's great. But if there's not more than just like, go get this Pokemon, go get this Pokemon, go get this Pokemon, like, I wonder with a world that big, just how long that's going to keep people's attention. Do you guys share that concern at all, Justin?
I mean, we'll see. Again, like I said, this is their first open world game. But this is something a lot of people have been waiting for a long time. I kind of hope they don't go overboard with size and just make it like a reasonably sized game with a decent amount of stuff to do instead of just like vast and empty or something. That I hope they get the balance right. Like, obviously, I don't know if they can pull it off or not. I know Game Freak as a whole is just kind of crunched because of how often they release Pokemon games, and now they're transitioning to doing games for the Switch, which is a big jump from like the 3DS and handheld stuff that they were doing. Like, even though the Switch isn't like PS5 or an Xbox Series X, like, it's still a big jump from the purely handheld platforms that they're used to. So I think they're still kind of in a transitory phase. I think, they're worked very hard with the schedule that they try to have to keep for Pokemon. But I'm rooting for this game. I hope it turns out well, because I
hope so too.
For people like me that haven't played Pokemon in a while, that are, severely lapsed, it might bring some of us back in, might add some more modern stuff that I think the franchise kind of sorely needs at this point. But I'm hoping it turns out well.
There was one other thing that I wanted to mention before we launch into our first big topic, and that was fucking Quake out of nowhere today. Was there no hint of this before it actually dropped? Like, there was that ESRB rating, but that's it.
And there was something else the other day. I think it got added to like a Steam database or something like that. But like, there was no actual announcement. And funnily enough, I was actually several levels into it before it was officially announced, because it went live on all of the stores, I think, an hour earlier than it was supposed to.
So this is when I admit that I've never played Quake.
Oh, well, let me tell you, this is like the definitive Quake release. This is... Oh, you were gone. We were discussing... Before I get into the remaster version, ask CJ when Quake came out compared to his age.
Oh, I already know what the answer is going to be, but CJ, go ahead.
So Quake, turns out, came out in 1996. John, I was born a year after Quake came out.
I just want to point out that you were born. So you were born in 97. I was 17 years old. That really fucking sucks for me. That really sucks. Yeah, that's really disconcerting. But no, I've actually never played Quake, and you know, Justin's reaction is very similar to the reaction. Like, I know Derek, if Derek is still in chat, Derek was like, this like changed Derek's world a little bit today. Like Derek was saying that Quake was his formative first-person shooter experience. I don't know if he's in chat anymore or not, but I went ahead and like, is it on Switch? Like, you guys know I'm going to ask that.
Yeah, it's on every console and PC.
Oh,
and it's on Game Pass. It's on Game Pass, and if you're on PC Game Pass, Quake 2 and 3 are also available.
Well, I can't download it on my PC right now because I can't fucking input anything
I was at work, like browsing the Xbox app and checking my library, and even before, I didn't even read Discord because you guys are talking about Quake, and I'm like, holy shit, Quake! Holy shit!
Yeah, and also it's only $10 even if you don't have Game Pass. Like, it's a really cheap upgrade, and it was done by Night Dive Studios. If you're not familiar with Night Dive, their specialty is bringing back old FPSs, remastered for new systems. They have their own engine that they've created called the Kex engine, and a lot of the games they've done are derived from Quake. So them getting to actually do Quake is really awesome. They do an amazing job. Like, Night Dive is basically like, you know, the equivalent of like a 4K Criterion release in film. Like, they do a ton of updates. The games always run incredibly well. They have a ton of visual upgrades, but a lot of them are optional. So you can there's actually a toggle between like a low res mode and a high res mode. So I can play it at 4K, but I can also go for a lower res, more like the classic experience. They have all sorts of toggles for motion blur, improved lighting, shadows, stuff like that, but you can turn it off if you want just closer to the old experience. It includes all of the DLCs that were released, including an all-new expansion that was made by Machine Games, kind of as an experiment behind the scenes. It's the first time it's been released publicly. They've mentioned it before, but it's the first time we've gotten to play it. And it supports add-ons. So Quake 64, the entirety of Quake 64, which is a little bit of a reworked version of Doom for the N64, also fully available in this new release. And it has multiplayer with crossplay and bot supports. Like, this is a phenomenal package. Like, this is the type of remaster that old games deserve.
I was honestly shocked to hear that they were on it, because they have the System Shock remake that's supposed to be out like now. They said late summer.
Yeah, I've been wondering what's going on with that, actually.
I backed that a few years ago. Yeah, I'm not expecting it anytime soon.
That's been going on for a while.
Late summer, and I just want to point out that summer ends on September 21st. And it has not been delayed yet. And I need this because it's one of my games in my fantasy league. So please, Night Dive. Finish System Shock.
They got time. All right, come on. They got like a month.
So
right.
I wanted to I feel like there was something else I wanted to mention, but I can't remember what it was.
But yeah, I played it. It has motion control support on both PlayStation and Switch as well. Like, they just did a really great job with this package. Night Dive has also done some other stuff. They did the recent Doom 64 port that came out around Eternal, but they also have done the Turok games. They recently did Shadow Man.
Shadow Man. Who?
Yeah,
the franchise nobody wanted back, but.
Hey, remember that time we were talking about shitty marketing, John? That one episode, and then do you remember Shadow Man's like awful marketing?
Oh yeah, dude, yeah, Tombstone marketing, man.
Fucking Tombstone.
Like Tombstone marketing, dude. Shadow Man, fucking. CJ, they called it deadvertising.
Yeah. Can you imagine dying?
Legacy?
Acclaim is like Acclaim just like
Acclaim just walks up to your tombstone and slaps a fucking Shadow Man's sticker on it.
Go visit Grandpa. He's there with the fucking N64 logo.
You've got that, you've got a statue of an angel weeping a single tear on your tombstone, and then right underneath it says download Shadow Man now on PS4, PS5, PC, Xbox, Switch.
But yeah, I just want to give a shout out to Night Dive, because I think their work isn't too known outside of like a lot of the PC community, and I think what they do is awesome. I think more classic games deserve the treatment that they give it. So yeah, the new Quake version of Quake's awesome. Go for it.
That's great, but now I'm thinking about fucking Shadow Man's advertising things, CJ. Just
listen,
they're just up there.
Listen,
an Activision PR guy just comes up with a hammer and chisel, just ching 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 ching, just Oh my god! All right.
You really hate someone. You wait till they die. You call up a claim and you tell them, look, listen, I got some great ad space for you guys.
He was a huge Shadow fan in life, and I know that he could be an even bigger Shadow fan, a bigger Shadow Man fan in death. And
Shadow fan is absolutely what
Shadow fan.
If there was like a Shadow Man fandom.
The five people who were waiting for that remaster were called themselves the Shadow fans.
Billy always was a company man.
Someone's gonna backplay playing Amazing Grace while some dude from Acclaim
is Shadow Man. Who the fuck comes up with that idea?
Wait, hold on. Sorry,
I totally forgot.
The same people who tell you, "Hey, let's have a LAN party at Ava Braun's house."
That's like the only thing that comes close to me is when it was EA hired a bunch of actors to play moms who were mad at Dead Space and hold those signs.
And Dante's Inferno.
Yeah, Dante's Inferno. Yeah, do you guys remember that? Like they actually paid actors to get these picket signs, and they're like, Dead Space, and like that was a thing that actually fucking happened. Like or the God of War orgy that PlayStation did. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah, the goat. We talked about this last time.
Yeah, they killed the goat.
They
sacrificed an actual goat.
They had a goat sacrifice. Yeah, that was a PlayStation Europe thing. There was like a 5-year stretch where PlayStation Europe just had the most abysmal marketing I've ever seen. And yeah, the goat was one of those things. There was that. Yeah,
that shit makes the Daikatana stuff look tame. Like,
you know what's funny? Nothing comes close. And as we talked about, nothing comes close to Sniper Warriors. The fucking.
Wait, I don't know about this one.
No, the Sniper.
Oh, this one was recent.
Don't you remember that we had a whole podcast about it?
I don't.
Where they took journalists to like a firing range.
Oh yes, okay, right. Yes, Jesus Christ. Yeah, and they had the big fucking Trump flag flying. It's like, what the fuck?
Nothing beats that.
What the fuck are you guys doing? I do remember that. Yes.
Even the Ava Braun thing doesn't beat that.
Yes. Oh, like you mentioned European marketing, and I promise this is, we'll get off marketing here for just a bit, but do you remember the terrible fucking white Vita, black Vita marketing in Europe?
That was another PlayStation Europe one.
Another PlayStation, when they had a white woman like grabbing the face of a black woman and like looking mad, like angrily. Yeah, like, and I'm just like, guys, like, did you not?
Tone deaf.
Did you? Did nobody look at this before you fucking signed off on it? Like, holy shit. Jesus
that one I think is the absolute worst of theirs. But there's some other bad ones I can't remember off the top of my head. But another thing I thought of regarding an old game getting a new release. That's right, fucking Skyrim Anniversary Edition.
Yeah,
coming this fall.
10 years in a row. Let's fucking go, baby.
I know Jeff is really excited about Skyrim Anniversary Edition.
I am actually. I want to play it on PS5. I'm gonna buy it, but as near as I can tell, it's just the special edition, and they took like a bunch of mods and kind of jammed them into the core game.
There's fishing. There's fishing now, man. You gotta like, be able to fish.
I could be wrong, but as far as I'm aware, it's like the exact same game, which is just so.
What more do you want?
Skyrim is the new Resident Evil 4. Like, it's available on literally fucking everything under the sun.
It actually has with this re-release, it has officially passed Resident Evil 4.
Wow.
For most re-releases.
How much more godlike? How much more godlike can those volumetric god rays get? Like, how godlike are we talking now with the power of the PS5? Like, I mean, have we? I mean, I don't know, man. Like, this is.
Question is like, how many of those big like mammoth things can just be sent flying into the sky?
Dude, when a giant hits you with his club, it's gonna send you to the fucking moon. Like,
but the draw distance when you're up there is gonna be so good.
It's gonna be green.
Like,
yeah, you'll be able to see as far.
And no loading. You'll just seamlessly hit across the continent by a giant.
It works.
And like as you reach as you are able to see the curvature of the world itself, you'll be able to look as far as the eye can see and think to yourself, I can go there. I can go there. Like that's the true Skyrim experience.
We love you, Toddy. We're gonna feed your kids.
Thank you so much, Todd.
Thank you, Todd.
I am actually not planning on picking it up. Like Skyrim's great, but I had my time with it, and just I'm kind of over Skyrim.
I've only played it recently on Switch, so I wouldn't mind picking it up on a beefier console.
It actually runs really well on Switch, though, doesn't it? Yeah,
I love it. Oh man, the Switch port's great, but I only have a Switch Lite, so I would like either like a native PS5 or a Xbox Series S version to really dive in.
Especially now that you have an Xbox Series.
I was about to download Skyrim Special Edition, but then this got announced. I'm like, thank you, Todd.
Thank you, Todd. Blessed Todd. Thank you, Todd. I had almost fucking forgot about that. Like, talk about just like two Quake and Skyrim coming back. I two games I did not expect to be talking about tonight, but yet here we are in the upside down world where it's happening. So as far as small stuff goes, I think we have mostly covered it there. I did want to jump into our since Katie's not going to be here, I did want to jump into the issue with hate streams, or not hate streams, but hate raids on women and people of color who are streaming on Twitch. Now I know that this isn't a new problem, but it's been getting really bad over the past few weeks. In fact, as we're speaking right now, it's happening to it's happening to a woman of color who's streaming, and people are doxing her in her chat, like as we speak. And I like, and it is just full like the most horrible, vile, racist messages you could possibly think of. And it's like hundreds of bots at a time, just hundreds. And it's getting really, really bad. I know that people have been petitioning Twitch to actually do something about this, right? Like start cracking down on this. But I'm curious as to what Twitch can actually do. Where do they go from here? How much power does Twitch have to actually shut these things down? Because I imagine it doesn't take a whole lot of work to just start a Twitch account, create a shitload of bots, and send them to attack someone. So how does Twitch combat this?
I mean, how does Twitch combat normal racism on the fucking on their platform? Look, they don't have a grasp on like the on people coming to streams just normally and stirring shit up. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't have a good grasp on that. How are they going to stop again what is essentially like a methodical form of racism? Like they somehow weaponized it into this into this massive thing. So again, if Twitch doesn't have a handle on the small stuff, I don't know how they're gonna have a handle on this this widespread issue.
I don't see how either, to be perfectly honest with you. I've been racking my brain on this one, and I don't, granted, I'm not like I don't work for Twitch, so I don't know what their internal capabilities are when it comes to stuff like this. But I personally, like, based on my very admittedly limited knowledge of how this stuff works, like I can't think of a super effective way to actually crack down on this stuff. And I hate even that we have to talk about it, because I feel like people are doing this. Like, I feel like the more press it gets, like the worse it's going to get. Does that make any sense? Like,
yeah, and it sucks to admit, but yeah, because obviously you keep talking about like the same trolls are gonna read headlines and think, all right, well, I can do that easy.
Yeah,
let's go fuck up someone's day. And it's getting to the point now where yeah, I rarely streamed ever. Right. I rarely streamed. I would do it occasionally. Now that's done. You see how vocal I am on Twitter? What if
Yeah.
one person's gonna read what I write and how much I fucking hate white people, and they're gonna fucking take that personally, right? So that there's this great thread that I retweeted by at Pleasantly Twisted, and talking about how like a lot of well-meaning white people are like were asking about like um oh yeah, do you really think it's because you're a person of color or you're part of the LGBTQ community or whatever? And it's like, yeah, duh.
Yeah.
I think that's that. See, I don't think it's up to Twitch, right? I think it's more up to like everyone else kind of waking up and realizing, oh yeah, well, this is a fucking issue, right? Like it's no longer a thing of like don't stand in the middle and kind of like, oh well, what if it's just like a joke that they're playing on everyone? What if it's just a phase? Like, no, this is obviously targeted. I think Justin and I were talking about yesterday or Monday where we're playing, where it's like,
happened? Yeah.
Go ahead,
Has
sorry,
it even happened to any like white male
I don't think so.
straight streamers at all? I haven't heard any reports of it.
I'd be
like,
stunned
even,
if it has.
like showing up in any kind of like Ninja's not getting hit with hate raids. Dr. Disrespect isn't getting hit with hate raids. Like
even the smaller, I doubt even like the smallest like straight white guy who's like streaming on Twitch right now will get hit with anything.
We're not getting hit with anything. We're mostly white guys.
Yeah. So it's like it's one of those things where wake up. It's intentional. It's like people are putting in the effort to be shitty. Justin, I remember we were having this conversation off the podcast, and how it's like people are really putting in the work to just like fuck up someone's day. Yeah, this isn't a coincidence. This isn't just like some like mass thing. It's like it's targeted. It's intentional.
And like a lot of people will say oh, it's just trolls, it's just trolls. But I mean, if it was just trolls, then they'd be indiscriminate in their targeting of people, right? Like if it was just trolls, then they'd be hopping into everybody's chats and doing stuff like this. But they're not.
See, a troll is like someone getting into a like spoiling a fucking movie in your fucking
right.
like Twitch chat, or
sending you a DM like, yeah,
or stream sniping you, right, and telling and like bragging about it in the fucking like chat. Like this is like as close. It's like a hate crime almost. So like not exactly.
Yeah, no, like they're obviously targeted, and like the messages are clearly customized to who they're targeting too. Like it's not even just like these things are going to go into random streams and say stuff. It's like, no, we know who this person is, we know what their identity is, and we're going to attack them specifically for it. Like it's not deniable that it's like that it's clearly targeted harassment that's sexist, racist, and everything.
My thing is to those people on the outside kind of thinking like, oh, it's just innocent trolling. It's just it's just coincidental that it's only hitting POC. It's like like would it make sense for someone to post a like a swastika in chat if they're targeting like white streamers?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't. Again, as shitty as it is to admit that, as painful as it is to admit that, you gotta look at, you gotta think of this like clearly. You gotta think of this like logically. There's like logic behind it. Like there is a method to this madness. It's not just a woohoo whatever thing we can discuss. I'm sorry, I'm like kind of fragmented, but yeah, it's not trolling. It's not just like we're gonna be dicks in chat for a while.
And
also another thing, as far as I know, Twitch hasn't even acknowledged that this is an issue.
I don't think
not even just like I don't even think they've given like a boilerplate. We're looking into it. We're like
I don't remember seeing anything.
I think there has been just complete radio silence from Twitch, which I think is the absolute like just it doesn't even. They're not even trying to pretend like they care, which is so deeply upsetting.
So here's my take on that, right? Like, and feel free to disagree with me, but I've got a few friends who work at Twitch, and I know that this is a big issue for them, and I know that it's painful for them. I agree that Twitch needs to say something. I think the reason they haven't is because, like CJ and I were talking about, especially CJ, like there's not a whole lot right now that they can do about this. And I think that they are probably trying to come up with a message that says that, but doesn't actually say that, if that makes any sense, right?
Okay, so there is a thread that Twitch posted.
Okay, there is. Okay, all right. What does it say?
All it boils down to is, let's have a dialogue about creator safety. I'm like, you know what the issue is. Like,
yeah, we don't need to talk about it. We know what the like a dialogue about what exactly.
The elephant in the room is fairly like, you know what I'm saying, like.
It's a big elephant. Like, it's, you know, I mean,
there's fucking mammoth from Skyrim. That's what it fucking is. It's flying around the fucking like, you know.
Yeah, I was actually, before we went live, earlier tonight, I went into that poor woman's chat just to see for myself how bad this really is, and man, like I felt horrid. And there's nothing you can do, you know, like there's nothing any of us can do. You know, I mean, great, we're talking about it, but I mean, talk is cheap, right? And there's, you know, go ahead.
Here's what I recommend.
Like, they already fucking talked.
Here's what I recommend, especially if to anybody that, you know, follows streamers that are at risk of being targeted or are being targeted for these things. If you are in a mental state where you are willing to be able to moderate for them to try to,
good call,
you know, slow this down as much as you can, that's probably one of the strongest things you can do to support them. We have wonderful team of mods here on Discord that have done a really great job for us. And I think it's just one of those ways you can step up and be active in defending people that need help. But again, it can take a toll on you too. So take care of yourself, but also, like, if you are equipped to be able to handle that, I think a lot of people would really appreciate it right now.
Yeah, and you know, honestly, there's not a whole lot else we can say about it right now. I mean, I just hope I hope something gets done. Like, I don't know what that is, but I mean, something needs to be done. Like, and I don't even know where you start.
My thing is, like, what, YouTube sucks already, right? Like, YouTube has like an awful problem with like that kind of thing. Twitch has had these issues. Like, it just hasn't been as targeted as this, as like things. So, like, where else is there to go? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
nowhere.
Where can someone like me, or like you know, women of color, or trans or gay people, like, where do they go from here?
Well, there are we'll go ahead and move on from this topic, because there are a few more things that I do want to hit on. And excuse me, I got something cut my throat there. You know, CJ, I'm glad you're here for this conversation, because it is, in my opinion, I think, kind of disingenuous for, you know, three white dudes to sit around and talk about, you know, black women being targeted on Twitch, you know, because it's
still disingenuous for me to speak for them too. Like, I'll admit that.
Yeah, but I mean,
look, I'm a white passing Latino guy. I can tell you my name is fucking like Charles fucking, like, I don't know, Smith. I'll be able to kind of, like, you know, escape whatever fucking issues. Again, like, this isn't me speaking for anyone. This is, like, again, kind of me fed up with just the general, like, you know, apathy a lot of, like, again, well-meaning white people have towards issues like this. Again, if you have to ask the question, like, well, are you sure? Like, okay, then don't call yourself an ally. Fuck that. Like,
yeah,
no, don't do no.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Before we move on to our next topic, we do have a little bit of news to drop that just happened. Apparently, Nintendo just completely shadow dropped a WarioWare demo on Switch.
I'm fucking pumped.
It's
fucking
available
pumped.
right now, Justin. You can download the demo right now on Switch.
Do I need Joy-Cons for it? Because
I don't think so.
If I have a Switch Lite.
I don't think you need Joy-Cons for it.
Okay.
And yeah, apparently like no warning either. Like and apparently it is very good from the reactions I have seen on Twitter. So if you're interested in WarioWare, I'm going to download the demo. I love WarioWare. So go download that shit on Switch right now if you want. Let's talk about oh god. Let's talk about Epic Games and Among Us. So I brought this up on Twitter, and the Fortnite Defense Force was there in literal minutes. So
1980 Fortnite, man.
Essentially what happened? Free Fortnite, right? Like for Epic is so derivative that they copied a fucking like they couldn't even have like I mean it's like come on guys. But so Fortnite or Epic instituted a game mode in Fortnite that is literally just a complete clone of Among Us down to the I mean they copied almost the map exactly. Like if you look at the maps and like they have the same room names like cafeteria and communications, and it's just I mean it's Among Us. That's what it is. Now, and I've seen a lot of people say, well, video games do this. They're derivative, right? And I'm like, okay, but like Among Us, for example, was not the first, who's the imposter Among Us game. And it's like, I get it. But Among Us took a style of game and put their own spin on it. Epic is just taking Among Us and putting it in Fortnite. And, that even wouldn't be such a problem if they had just collaborated with Innersloth on this. Like, I like, I mean, it's unbelievable.
Look, they're doing all these fucking collaborations. Man, call Universal up. Put Kurt Russell, Keith David in a game and call it The Thing. And there, you call that your fucking like.
Yeah, like I mean,
yeah.
This could have been, and like I think the real story. And Jeff, you were talking about this on Twitter, and you made a really good point when you said, the issue here is a small dev. And that's what Innersloth is. Like, I don't care how popular Among Us is. They're a very small team that is going to be absolutely curb stomped by one of the largest dev/pubs in the entire industry. And that's not cool. Like it would have taken them nothing. It would have literally cost Epic nothing to reach out to Innersloth and say, hey, let's do collab. Especially like since this is fucking Fortnite and they collaborate with everybody under the sun. Like I don't understand why they had to do this way.
Yeah, I deleted all my tweets because I don't like to talk about video games on Twitter. I try not to
smart
be
move
on Twitter at all. But it's yes, games are iterative and games copy and riff off and improve and and I'm not gonna say I have not done my research, but my understanding is that Among Us was not the first video game to do the imposter thing. I do not know, how original their mode is compared to other ones, but I think, there's different standards for companies like this, regardless of how successful Among Us is. To suggest Innersloth is like on the same level as Epic Games in any capacity is absolutely ridiculous. So I'm fine with, these smaller indie companies. I don't want to say playing dirty, but like, okay, they're all trying to survive. They're trying to get an edge up on each other and stuff, but it's a level playing field, right? They're all working with really limited resources. And so I'm going to give, Innersloth a little bit of slack if they, maybe all their ideas aren't completely original, but Epic Games is like, they got fucking billions of dollars. They have infinite resources, infinite money. There is no limit to the pockets that they can reach into. So yeah, I expect a little bit more from them than pulling the carpet out from one of the most popular indie games of the last couple of years. Like, they could do better. They could try a little bit harder.
They got to release a battle royale game, but it also includes building. It also includes.
We're gonna get to the point where we're gonna see Shadow Man advertised in Fortnite before long. Like that's like, absolutely gonna fucking happen.
The thing about the thing about this that gets me is it's two things. One, a couple people have mentioned potential crossover collaboration, which I think would have also made Epic a ton of money.
Probably.
Could you imagine how much money they could have made off of like official Among Us skins in Fortnite?
And we know they love money. I mean,
what is it? The audience crossover is like, you know what I'm saying? It's like,
yeah, no, it would be huge. Like they both have a large young audience.
My son loves both games. It would have blown his mind.
Yeah. It would have been a really cool event for fans of both games, and they both probably would have made a lot of money. So like that's the other thing. It's not like Fortnite and Among Us were a direct competitors kind of thing. Like it's not like, two different FPSs have a battle royale mode, like kind of thing. We're not gonna see like a Battlefield Call of Duty collaboration anytime soon. But like these are two different games that have similar audiences, and like that's the sort of thing where a collaboration would have been awesome, especially given the amount of collaboration Epic is usually willing to give. Two, one of the reasons they said they're going to court against Apple for the App Store policies is specifically to protect and empower smaller developers. When you do something like this, I mean, they've always been transparently lying about that line, but like this is such a brazen show, like of that not being any type of reason that they want to do anything.
Got a free Fortnite, man.
If you're trying to show that you're empowering and supporting smaller developers, like expand that publishing wing, because the Epic publishing deal is pretty great, but right now it's only a few people that have been offered it. Expand your publishing wing, expand offers on the Epic Games Store, stuff like that. Like stuff like this just goes to show that an unregulated Epic Games Store or whatever isn't better than like any other storefront. Also, I do want to remind people how it went down with how Fortnite got its Battle Royale mode, because I think people are forgetting the actual what happened. So they invited the developers of PUBG to Epic's headquarters, sat down with them, and asked them specifically what types of things the Unreal Engine would need to properly support Battle Royale games. And the PUBG developers assumed, hey, this is them seeing that we built this game on Unreal. We're making something that's really successful on their engine, and they want to help us. A couple months later, they released the Fortnite Battle Royale.
Oh my god!
So like they literally called them and then got their input for how to overhaul their engine, and then made their own mode, which has since completely dwarfed PUBG in popularity. At least outside of Asia. PUBG is still massive over in Asia, but worldwide, Fortnite is more popular.
I don't hear anybody talk about PUBG anymore, to be perfectly honest with you.
I mean, it's
still pretty popular.
I think it's still a very healthy game. It's just not zeitgeisty or whatever.
It's like more hardcore than like again, you can play Fortnite again. Like my little cousins play Fortnite. Like, you know what I'm saying? They're not gonna play PUBG.
How long is it though before Epic offers Dr. Disrespect a skin in Fortnite and brings him over to?
He was in Rogue Company, so I'm not doubting that he will be in.
I mean, fuck him, period. Like, who gives a shit? But yeah, well.
It's happening now. What are you talking about, John? They're meeting right now.
They probably are.
In their evil headquarters. While like drowning puppies in like blood and like.
There's Jesus Christ.
Ripping off indie devs.
Holy shit.
Ripping off indie devs.
Well, I drowned. Well. Wow, this went places. Who's
the main Epic guy? What's his name?
Oh, Tim Sweeney.
Sweeney. And
he's drinking, just like sucking
he's
the soul
drinking all of it out of he's drinking it out of his giant-sized Popeyes.
Do you remember
cup.
that he was doing this stream? He was on a stream talking to somebody, and the room he's in is just completely empty except for this fucking Popeyes big gulp, like just sitting on the floor. Other than that, he was just in this carpeted room with fucking nothing in it.
Full of the tears of the indie devs they screwed over.
Yeah. There's something else. There's another. You guys will fucking love this if you haven't heard this. So yes, there is more news about Abandoned by Blue Box Studios. Now get this, okay? So Abandoned is going to be free for individuals who purchased their previous game. Sounds great, right? The problem is that they never finished the previous game. So that, which was The Haunting, and it was actually it was supposed to release in or last year in early access, and then they pulled it from sale after it was in early access and announced a different indie studio would be taking over development, and that game's never going to come out, right? So
also, what they did release on Steam, I want to clarify, what they released on Steam was what's known as an asset flip. But I want to be clear what that means, because a lot of people think that anytime they see like assets that have been bought from a store or something, that means the developers are lazy, which it does not. Big and small studios do this all the time. However, an asset flip is when you kind of just purchase like a pre-made map and then a few things from the asset store, throw them in without really changing them at all, and then putting it onto Steam and selling it for money, instead of like actually putting effort to customize and add stuff to make the game your own. That's what they had released on Steam, and that's what got pulled.
So, okay, I'm afraid to admit this. I'm afraid to ask. I'm afraid to kind of dig deep into this. As you all may remember, I was not on Twitter for a long time. I still don't know what the fuck Abandoned is.
Nobody knows what the fuck Abandoned is.
No, but I know. No, but like okay, what? It's an app that didn't work.
CJ, I think you and me are on the same page. I'm like, I've heard the name, but like, I don't even know what's going on.
It's a Metal Gear Solid game. It's
No,
a Kojima game.
To be clear, I don't want to know.
So
I'll give you the rundown. They released just a teaser on the PlayStation blog, and several months ago. Which isn't unusual for indie developers to announce things on the PlayStation blog. And then people decided they thought it was a new Silent Hill and that it was a fake thing set up by Kojima, who, again, got fired from Konami and got a Silent Hill game canceled.
No,
so,
but listen, that never happened. So, like, remember, Death Stranding was supposed to be a secret Metal Gear Solid game, okay?
Yeah. And then, so...
These developers just totally leaned into
theories went wild, and, like, they released a statement like, no, we're not connected with Kojima, Konami, or Silent Hill, but then they also started tweeting out a bunch of stuff kind of alluding to it.
But here's the thing, Justin.
And instead of just releasing a trailer, they wanted it to be like a downloadable thing that runs in real time on the console, which I actually think is pretty cool.
It's pretty cool, but Justin, don't forget, they advertised that thing with the blurred image of a man's face with an eye patch that is very clearly looks a lot like Big Boss, with some
and Abandoned written in the Metal Gear
Solid font, and it's like, so okay, guys,
and then they also had a tweet at one point like, our game title hasn't officially been announced yet. It starts with S and ends with L and is 2 words.
and the game is titled Abandoned, apparently. So I want to stress to people in chat, this is not Metal Gear. It's not Silent Hill. Those are fucking conspiracy theories.
It's police nuts.
This developer, Blue Box Studios, has a history of announcing games and never releasing them. They have worked on 5 games. None of them have seen a full release, if any release at all. This is a pattern for them. When this was initially announced, they were getting a lot of hate for all the Metal Gear Silent Hill stuff, right? There was conspiracy theories, and I felt very sympathetic to them. I don't anymore. Because this is a pattern with this developer. They're based somewhere in Europe, I believe. And
this is a team that is at best mismanaged and not well prepared for the projects they take on.
Right.
At worst, I think this is one guy continually fleecing investors.
Well, and see,
because he has gotten a lot of investors for these projects.
There's something I want to point out, and this has been brought up numerous times. And here's the answer to this, right? People keep saying, well, Abandoned was featured on the PlayStation blog, so it's got to have some Sony money behind it. And I'm like, no, developers pay money to be featured on the PlayStation blog. Like just because your game is featured on the PlayStation blog does not mean that you're being money headed by Sony. That's not what that means at all. But you know what? Everybody knows who Blue Box Studios is now. I think this is a marketing scam.
So that real-time app, they let you preload back in July. It was supposed to go live at the end of July. It got pushed back to August 10th. August 10th rolled around. Last minute, they said, "Oh, we had technical issues." Couple days later, they put out a patch, and it was just the 3-second teaser they had posted on Twitter.
Yeah, that's all it was. And the head of the studio actually did an interview with IGN. And so the size of the team is about 10 full-time staff with a roughly 40 additional freelancers working on Abandoned. And he says that within the next few months, this is what he claims. The first gameplay trailer, or he says he goes on to say the current plan is to release The Haunting, that's their previous unfinished game, for free upon its completion on PlayStation, Steam, and Xbox, along with the first gameplay trailer for Abandoned. That will happen in a few months. I'm going to spoil this for everybody. It's not going to fucking happen. Abandoned is not going to come out. You will not play this video game. This is not.
John.
No.
No. Hold up. Now, after everything Justin told me, I'm going to deliver again. I'm from the outside. Everything Justin told me, I was convinced. This is all a bunch of hooey.
Yeah,
it's stupid.
It's garbage.
It is. But now that you've essentially doubled down that it's not coming out, it's not only going to come out, John.
No.
It's going to be like Game of the Year right there.
Oh no.
Game of the fucking
I feel quite confident in saying that you will
get like a 99 on Metacritic.
You will never play. You will never play Abandoned because it's never going to release.
Yep, you just confirmed that I'm only going to play it.
What comes first, Abandoned or Metroid Prime Trilogy?
Yes.
Abandoned.
So funny thing too. There's also another interview where he gave an interview about how the game plays, and like initially when it was announced, it was an open world horror game, and he's like, "Oh yeah, no, now it's not open world anymore. It's a linear survival FPS." So like it just and like what he says, it basically just sounds like every survival FPS that has come out the past few years. So we'll see what releases of this, if anything, does.
So John, the email I get when I get my review code for
Abandoned, yeah. So okay, so check this out, right? Like, so here's my favorite part of the interview. It's the idea that some people believe Blue Box is intentionally misleading people that bothers Karaman the most. If I were a gamer and if someone else was doing exactly the same thing, I would be really hyped to see a real-time experience. And if it wasn't coming, I would be disappointed. But they're labeling us as scammers. That hurts. It's like, okay, like, I'm sorry, dude, but one, you don't have a great track record on this stuff. And two, like, you can't sit there and say, no, we're not Metal Gear, or please leave us alone. We're not Kojima, please leave us alone. And then post that fucking picture of that guy with the beard and the eye patch that you did with the Metal Gear Solid font. You just can't do that.
Link to that. I want to see it. Like, I'm curious. I want to see how blatant it is.
CJ,
I'll get it for you.
Pull it up right now.
It's blatant.
It's CJ. CJ. I'm glad we're doing this now because I'll get to see your reaction to this.
I know they might have deleted it because they delete.
It's on the web.
Tweets.
I know it's on the web. That shit is floating around on Google.
If it's like Venom Snake from Phantom Pain, then it's like
No, it literally is. Here, I've got it right.
He's got it. All right. Yeah.
I'm sending it to CJ right now.
Toss that shit. Right. Yeah, and toss it in chat too.
Oh come on.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh come on. No, dude. You know what that is? That's the Phantom Pain like start screen.
Yeah,
come on.
CJ, do you see CJ? Now do you see?
Come on.
Like you can't.
And that's from their fucking page. That's not even like a fan edit. That like someone who's like thinking like, oh yeah, this is a Metal Gear thing. I'm gonna make this fucking mock-up.
Actually, somebody did remove the blur filter and found that it's just like a really cheap asset you can get on the Unreal store.
But the problem is like
back. Never mind. Game of the year 2021. I promise you.
The problem is that looking at it because I've got it up now too again, and like you've got what looks like 3 words in the background right above Abandoned. Do you see that, CJ? It looks like you've
Yeah.
got 3 blurred
I
out
want to know what
words.
those say.
You've got the man with a beard and an eye patch. You've got the Metal Gear font. Like, come on, guys. Like, what are you doing?
Hold up. Enhanced tactical espionage. No.
And so you can't. So CJ, this is what I mean when I say you can't say woe is me, everybody thinks we're Konami or everybody thinks we're Kojima, and it hurts, and then post this.
Yeah,
like,
I'm sorry if you guys are like retreading things like that just to like kind of like bring me up to speed. But yeah, no, this does seem, again, it seems intentional. It does seem like they really want to lean into that, because they probably what it was, they probably were going through this. Someone said, "Hey, this is similar to the marketing campaign for Metal Gear Solid 5 back in, it was in 2013, so like 2 years before that game came out. I don't know if you guys remember the cycle for that. So they're probably like, oh, let's lean into that, but also not lean into it. Let's just not take responsibility for it.
That is,
like the thing is, like, if they just gave, like, if I was them, I would have, released the statement like they did, saying we're not affiliated with Konami or Kojima at all. But then I would show the actual game. I would change this marketing strategy of whatever they're doing.
Jeff said that's Majima in chat.
Oh, no, holy shit.
That is Goro Majima. That is Majima. And speaking, I don't want to spend too long on a bandit, because I feel like we've already given them more breath than they deserve, but I had to bring this up. But that is actually a great segue into something else I wanted to talk about, especially since CJ is here. And that is the reveal of CJ. You know what, CJ, you go ahead. Launch into it, baby.
Listen, all right? Fuck it. Last time I was here, or like the time before that, because I haven't been on in a long time, I learned that they're remaking, like, they're remastering a bunch of Monkey Ball games, and I almost cried, but you guys couldn't see it because I didn't have my camera at that time. All right. Since then, they've not only announced that Sonic and Tails are going to be in the game. They not only it's Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania, so they not only announced that Sonic and Tails are in. They not only announced that the fucking whatever his name is from Jet Set Radio's in it. No, today they decided that CJ, you know what, is gonna eat so good in October. They're gonna put fucking Kazuma Kiryu in my shiny.
And he got a whole trailer. He got a whole ass trailer.
Instead of bananas, it's Stamina X.
Oh my god! Are you serious?
All that's missing. It's beautiful. Oh my god! Like it's this game. I love how like Sega not only remembered. Oh yeah, we have more franchises that aren't Sonic and Yakuza. We have Monkey Ball, but let's use Monkey Ball as a platform to like put a bunch of other fucking like.
Oh my god!
It's gonna be great.
I can't
wait.
When I saw that Kiryu trailer, I almost shit my pants. I was like, no fucking way. And dude, like.
I called it. I think I told someone. I told like someone in chat, like on Discord off thing, where I'm like, oh yeah, like they put Jet Set Radio characters. They're gonna have the Kiryu in here at some point, right?
And they fucking did it. And they did it. And I hope that we don't see any more guest characters, because like I want there to be like surprises, because I'm with you, CJ. I love Super Monkey Ball. Love Super Monkey Ball. And this is a day one purchase for me, but I want there to be some surprise, like some fun surprises. Like
I want to unlock like what's his name from Shenmue. Rio, right?
Rio, yeah.
Yeah, I want Rio in there.
Or a forklift.
Yes,
yeah. A forklift from Shenmue.
I want a fucking Dreamcast control. Oh, Seaman. Oh, that's what I wanted. The Seaman, like fucking.
Oh my god! Put the Seaman, Put like fucking Echo the Dolphin in there. Like fucking.
Oh my god!
Like
put Bug. Bring Bug back from the Sega set.
Oh shit, dude! Yeah, I forget. Bug.
Rystar. Put Rystar in there. Oh my god! Holy shit!
Put some Streets of Rage characters in there.
The thing is, this to me, I love that Sega is like, all right, well, we're gonna re-release these games. It's a budget title. So we might as well just go fucking crazy and put just put all these random characters.
I want. No, I was just. No. I was just gonna say I want Sega to be absolute fucking madmen and add a Monkey Ball Pound Mates to Like a Dragon now. Just add a Monkey Ball Pound Mates summon in there. That would be fucking awesome.
Like either AA or Gon just coming in.
Yeah, just bouncing, rolling around all over the fucking place. Yeah.
Oh my god, it's amazing because I don't know, this is Sega probably kind of sweetening the deal, because again, I don't think Monkey Ball is as big as it was at some point, right? I don't know how well that Banana Blitz remaster sold. in 2019. So I think this is them kind of like, okay, we kind of need to draw in the non-Monkey Ball people. So Sonic is an obvious one. Sonic and Tails are like the obvious one, which is great because I love Sonic games. Kiryu is probably calling it because it's probably a callback because it's the same studio.
Yeah.
What's his name? Nagoshi
created
Monkey Ball.
Creator of Monkey Ball and the creator of Yakuza are the same guy. For anybody that doesn't know that, it's so good.
The director of F-Zero GX on GameCube too.
Yes.
So do you know what this smells like to me, CJ? Because how many of the original games are in this remaster?
I don't know actually. I because I know I'm getting a review code for it, so I've avoided like looking up anything.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I'm not.
I think it's 3.
Is it 3? Is it Super Ball? Is it Super Monkey Ball 1, 2, and 3? Okay. So I have a theory on this. I think this is partially meant to gauge interest in the franchise and say, okay, depending on sales, do we make a new Super Monkey Ball period? Is there enough interest here to actually, and if they do, that'd be awesome. If not, we've still got 1, 2, and 3 remastered with all these cool additional characters.
See, look, here's my thing, John. That matters more to me than a brand new one.
Really?
100%. 1 and 2, that's fine. I was like 6 when I got my GameCube, and that was the first game I got with it. And then Monkey Ball 2, my dad bought it for me at a Best Buy. He rarely plays games with me. He really played games with me when I was younger, but the few a lot of great memories there. We played Monkey Target like crazy. So the fact that now like they're remastering that the specific game, it's the same. It's the equivalent of like when the Tony Hawk remasters came out.
That's great.
It's way more personal.
I love how happy you are.
Oh my god.
I just had a realization. Are we going to be able to do an SDGC game night with Monkey Target?
Oh god, yes. Oh god, yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh god, yes.
Play on whatever consoles you guys are.
Absolutely. I'm playing mine on Switch because gyro controls. And I want to be able to play that in handheld. I mean, CJ, honestly, I'm getting on Switch because I want to take it everywhere I go. Like that's.
I'm probably getting it on Switch.
That's
and
perfect.
PS5.
That's perfect for Switch. And it's not even a full price. It's a $40 game. So
yeah, Sega's good with that. Like
yeah,
they know how to price their fucking games. It's like a new Sonic game will cost $40. So Monkey Ball's gonna cost $40.
I'm really impressed actually with that.
Jeff, have you ever played Monkey Ball?
No, I was saying in chat, I literally hadn't heard of Monkey Ball until you started talking about it.
You're in for a good time, Jeff.
Oh my god.
Am I? I don't know.
No, Jeff,
maybe
this is a good time.
Maybe my favorite Sega franchise. Maybe like my like you know what I'm saying? Like this the formative like video game experience for me.
Jeff, this is a really good fucking time, man. I'm telling like CJ's right. Like Monkey Ball
I'm watching the trailer for Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania right now.
Yeah.
Just watching this trailer.
I think they said it's even going to have 120 FPS support on PS5 and Series X. Like,
which at that point like is getting redundant. Like you're not going to like
no.
I won't lie, it just looks like Sonic to me as an outsider.
It's not. It's like an obstacle course game.
Put Billy Hatcher in the game.
Oh shit, yeah.
Put Alex Kidd in the game.
Put Alex Kidd, Billy Hatcher, put Joker from Persona 5, put I don't know, fucking fucking Puyo Tetris characters.
You could put what's some other really good dude, like put the fucking just curl the Panzer Dragoon up in there, up in a ball, and fucking and roll that shit around.
What's the name of the main character from Skies of Arcadia? Put
Vice.
Put
Vice.
Yeah, put Vice in there.
Have you guys ever watched any Monkey Ball speed runs?
No, but now I kind of feel like I need to.
They're the most stressful things I've ever watched.
I'll bet.
They're incredible. They like launch themselves from like the starting line to the end. It's so cool. You need to check these out, because like these people are so ridiculously good at the games.
I don't think you understand. We're getting a Monkey Ball game in October and a Halo game in November.
You're gonna
and a Metroid game
game
in October.
Like let's just and that's something that I'll close on real quick is that this coming holiday season, this fall and winter is fucking bonkers for video games. Like let's like right off the bat, next week we have No More Heroes 3. If you've never played No More Heroes, go fucking do it, because
I love those games.
Yeah.
I adore those games.
No More Heroes 3 comes out next week. Then we have Tales of Arise coming out in September, which, but I played the demo. That game is fucking gorgeous. We've got a new fucking OLED Switch, which I've got pre-ordered. You've got Metroid Dread, the first 2D Metroid in fucking 19 years, the first continuation of that story in 19 years. You've got remake. You've got Pearl and Diamond. You've got Super Monkey Ball 1, 2, and 3. Halo.
Battlefield 2042.
Battlefield. Like, what the fuck else? And I know there's more. What else is coming out this winter?
Endwalker, John.
What's that?
Endwalker.
Endwalker. Jesus, yes, Endwalker.
Deathloop. I'm really looking forward to
Deathloop is coming out. Like, I don't even fucking know how I'm supposed to do all this. Like, I finished Neo: The World Ends With You today, and now I've got to get through Great Ace Attorney 1 and 2. I love Ace Attorney games, and I'm trying to do that knowing that No More Heroes 3 is coming out next week, and I'm like, that's a day one for me because I fucking love No More Heroes. And then I'm already thinking like, okay, then I'll have No More Heroes. I'll still have Great Ace Attorney 1 and 2, and a few weeks later, I've got fucking I've got Tales of Arise coming. I've got the more of the Final Fantasy Pixel remasters 4, 5, and 6 coming. What a stacked fucking holiday season for games. The Analog Pocket is supposed to be launching in October. We'll see if that
John, you forgot. We still have Abandon coming out. Yeah, my game of the year 2021.
It got delayed to 2022. It got delayed to
It did get delayed.
All right. They did announce it got delayed.
We got System Shock.
It did get delayed
in a month.
I've also got I've got a theory that I wanted to kind of throw at Justin in particular. We know, so there's been a lot of talk, and this is kind of what we'll wrap it up on. There's been a lot of talk on Twitter about Nintendo's constant, like, I love the fact that Nintendo is really hyping up Metroid Dread. Like, they're really hyping it up, which speaks volumes about their confidence in the game, right? But they've also been tweeting very heavily about games like Zero Mission and Metroid Fusion in particular, because that's the game that directly precedes this. But of course, the only way to play Metroid Fusion is if you've got a Game Boy Advance copy, if you've got it on the Wii U from the Virtual Console, or if you've got an Ambassador 3DS, which nobody fucking has an Ambassador 3DS. So a lot of people are wondering if they'll either just shit Metroid Fusion out on Switch before they'll just drop it on Switch before Metroid Dread happens, or the more likely thing, I think we're due for another Nintendo console on Nintendo Online. We've got NES and N64. These things traditionally drop these in September.
I was gonna say, yeah, they skipped the year.
Yeah,
because 2018 was NES, 2019 was SNES.
Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Advance.
No, I think it's only going to be GBA and GVC. I don't think it's.
I'd be okay with that, actually, CJ.
Me too.
I'd be fine with that.
There's a lot of really good stuff they could release, but I don't know. I don't want to get my hopes up for anything regarding the Nintendo Online.
Well, I'm not saying get your hopes up, but I feel like it would make sense though, right? Like, maybe that's why it won't happen.
I would just take a re-release. I don't even care.
I don't think you're going to get a re-release. I think, CJ, you tell me what you think. You sound like you're kind of on board with that idea of them just like, okay, we skipped a year, September, here's Game Boy Advance games, and oh, look, here's Metroid Fusion. The sequel's coming out in 3 weeks. Here you go. Like,
I love that. I love the Game Boy Advance.
Me too.
Personally, I just think that it's going to be original Game Boy and Game Boy Color before Game Boy Advance, because Nintendo is weird. They'll do things they think people want.
The thing is, though, CJ, like, even if they did that, like, I've ostensibly got an Analog Pocket coming in October. We'll see if it gets delayed again. But I've got dozens of Game Boy Advance and Game Boy Color games. Like, I'm gonna play them on my Analog Pocket. I'm not gonna play them on Switch.
Okay, well, I would prefer it on my. Again, like, everyone was pissed when these like that they weren't released piecemeal and that they're released via service. I mean, it's fine for me. Donkey Kong Country 2 is on my Switch.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I think. I think it's weird for them to be constantly blowing the horn about Metroid Fusion, and it's like, but good luck trying to play it. So you know, so I don't know. It seems like I'm with Justin. I would prefer a standalone release, to be honest with you. Like that would make sense. But that's exactly probably why it's not going to happen, because it's Nintendo. You know, Nintendo sense these things don't really always go together. But we are pushing up against our time here. Did anybody have anything they wanted to get off their chest before we sign off here? I'm going to have to go tomorrow and buy a new keyboard. That really fucking sucks. That really sucks. What a great way to start the show today.
Are you gonna go full RGB again?
I don't know,
man. Join the Republic of Gamers, John.
I'm gonna go. Yeah, absolutely. I want the gaudiest fucking Republic of Gamers shit. I want my shit to be a Razer. I want a Razer keyboard. I want that shit. You know what? I want a Game Fuel keyboard. There's got to be like a keyboard, an RGB keyboard with tons of Game Fuel. Right? Yeah, exactly. With like tons of Game Fuel branding on it.
Maybe it'll be, maybe it'll be resistant to pouring Game Fuel on it.
Maybe it will. You know, like I for one would appreciate that, because this is the second time this has happened to me. Maybe I just need to stop drinking during podcasts. Maybe
real gamers don't drink, John. They got to be like in the game. Come on.
Gamers don't hydrate. Real gamers don't hydrate, man. Like
you need intravenous hookup, my friend. Get that drip going.
All right. This Saturday, I've got a fun stream planned for everybody. So my good friend Gathalion, he's a huge Twitch streamer. If you haven't heard of him, that would shock me, but you should definitely go check him out on Twitch. He hooked me up with an NT Mini. So I am going to stream some Nintendo games on Saturday. I'm going to start with Karnov, which is a game that is so bad the Nintendo or the NT Mini might refuse to power it. But we're going to see. And then I'm going to play Shadowgate, which is one of my favorite old NES games. Shadowgate fucking rules. It's an old point and click game. It's a really eerie, really looking forward to that. Looks like we get some comments in the chat. John wants it to run on RGB lights. Yeah. All right. Well, that's all we got right now. Don't forget, we've got Extra Life coming up. Justin, Brittany, Derek, and myself are going to be right here at my home streaming for 24 hours. We're going to do a Pokemon Nuzlocke. And the night before, we're going to do some fun streams for you guys as well. Get the community involved. Thanks for turning out, everybody. Sorry for all the technical issues. I'm having a really frustrating night. But anyway, take care of each other and remember that kindness costs nothing. We'll see you guys next week.